Josiah, can I switch
I want to be Santi.
Can I switch you with
Oh,
Euros?
yeah.
Oh, snap.
I appreciate it.
It's snowing.
It's cold.
Okay. All right, we're joined by the student athletes from the University of Tennessee, Kennedy Chandler, Josiah Jordan James, John Fulkerson, and we are joined as well by Santiago Vescovi. If you have a question, please raise your hand and state your name and media affiliation when you ask your question. And again, a reminder, no video recording is allowed of these press conferences. We're doing that for you, but still photography is more than fine. If you have a question for the student athletes, please raise your hand. We'll get you a microphone. Let's go right here to the front.
Grant Ramey, GoVols247.com. Is it for the guys that were here last year, at what point did you notice on Sunday that you're going to be playing in the same gym where you were last year when this thing was held in Indy?
Yeah, when we got the report and the news, probably a little while after the selection show, I'm happy to be back. I was excited that they put us back here. I think everything is coming full circle, and I'm glad we have a chance to redeem ourselves.
Boros Plavcic joins us as well. Next question. Let's go right back here to the front.
Mike Wilson, Knoxville News Sentinel. This is for Josiah and Santi. What would it mean to you guys to see Mike Schwartz get a head coaching opportunity and that kind of coming his way at last?
So he had a talk with us even before it all came out to the media. And first of all, I think we're all really happy and proud for him. I think it's a deserving job for him. He's been working for it. And I think we're all really happy that opportunity came up to him. But right now, I think our main focus is right here and the games that we got to play right now. Once the season's over, then we're going to have to we're going to spend time with him before he leaves and everything. But most of all, I think it's just we're all really happy for him that he has this opportunity, and it's real well deserved.
Yeah, I would say there's nobody who's more deserving of being a head coach than Coach Schwartz. Me and his relationship started when I was in middle school, and so just to see the work that he's put in to finally pay off. He's been working his whole life to get that goal as a head coach, and I'm just excited and happy for him. And I remember when he told me, I was just elated with energy and just happy for him and his family. But he reassured us, like Santi said, that this is his main focus, winning games here or winning a game here. Our next game is his main focus, and he's not worried about anything to come in the future. But I'm just so excited for him and his family.
Let's go to the center here. Right ahead.
Hey, for Josiah and Kennedy, when you look back at the first game against Kentucky this season, it seemed to be kind of a turning point with how poorly that game went. What changed for you guys after that? I know Coach Barnes said afterwards about the vibe of the team, and we need people to say enough is enough. Do you feel like that's what happened to get the season turned?
Josiah, go ahead. Kennedy, we'll get your thoughts after that.
I would say getting embarrassed on national TV is a very eye-opening experience. You learn a lot in wins, but I feel like you learn even more in losses. And I feel like that was a chance for us, an opportunity for us to come closer as a group, to have, really look at ourselves in the mirror, both individually and as a team. And I feel like we learned the most from that loss. I felt like we came together. Losing that way on ESPN, it really lit a fire under us, and we knew that we wouldn't want to be in that situation or that position again. And I felt like we just tried to do everything in our ability to not put ourselves in that situation. But yeah, that was a really good lesson for us early this year.
Kennedy, go ahead.
For me, I'll just say after we lost that game, we was all disappointed in ourselves the way we played. We knew we were better than we played that game, and I feel like ever since that game, we just push ourselves every single day from film, from practice, and we knew that's not the team we were, and ever since that, we've been getting better and better each and every single day from that point on.
Let's go to the front right corner right here. Get a couple more over there. For those of you that are on Zoom, raise your hand. We'll note. We'll try to get to you before we get to the end of our window. You go right ahead.
Trey Wallace, I'll kick. John, Santiago, Josiah, over the last couple days, just as a group, getting back from Tampa, kind of getting back in that mode again, and you're back on the road. What's it been like over the last 2 to 3 days, the off day, and getting prepared for the tournament?
John, let's start with you. Go ahead.
I think the biggest thing is we just have to enjoy what we accomplished in Tampa, but we got to realize that, that was one of our goals all season, but we also have another goal in mind that we've set for ourselves. And so enjoying that and then immediately turn our focus to Longwood and preparing for them. So just, like I said, enjoying it and then shifting our focus and our mindset to start preparing for the next game.
Santiago, your thoughts on that question?
Going off what John said, I totally agree with that. I think that we had our time to enjoy what we did. We were totally focused on Tampa. Now that's over, and it's just a quick turnaround. We got to shift all our focus to what we got now, and this is the NCAA tournament, so we got to focus on that. And then once everything's over, we're going to have time to go back and celebrate everything that we've done and what we're going to do.
And finally, Josiah.
Yeah, basically what they said in a nutshell. It was good to see us set a goal to win an SEC tournament and achieve that goal. But we also had a goal at the beginning of the year to win games in March and to get to the Final Four and win a national championship. So that's where our goals are at now, and it starts with Longwood.
Let's go front right corner.
Kennedy, all these other guys have been here before. I mean, it was maybe different because of COVID, but as a freshman, first time here, what are your emotions like? How big of a fan were you of March Madness, of the tournament growing up? What's it like to be here?
I was a big fan, me making brackets every single time, coming from March Madness, and, me to be able to play in it, it's just a dream come true. And, I'm just very excited, to be able to play my first game tomorrow. And, I'm looking forward to, getting experience and, to be able to play in the March Madness.
Let's go to Joe in the front row. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, Joe Rex with The Athletic, also for Kennedy. Just wondering how important Josiah has been for you during this year, and especially as a guy who knows what it's like to come in, as a 5-star McDonald's guy and all the hype that comes with that, and what kind of a leader you've seen him become this year as well.
Ever since I take my official visit, me and Josiah, we've had that relationship, that bond, and ever since then, he's been a great leader. All these guys right here at this table, they're great leaders. They've been great leaders, and ever since I got in here, they've taught me so much. From Coach Barnes and what he expects, and just a style of offense and what expect on defense. All these guys, they've taught me so much, and all of them are great leaders to this team, and they've been doing it since this summer. They're such great leaders, and they show a great example for all of us and the young guys.
Let's go over here to the right. Go ahead.
Karthik Venkatraman, WBIR in Knoxville. This is to all the guys that were, on the team last year. I know you guys haven't been here that long yet, but, how different is it day-to-day life so far this year compared to last, and how fun do you feel like it'll be to play in front of a crowd again?
Ross, you got it. How you go first? You got it.
Well, Ross, you go ahead. Make your press conference debut.
Well, I would say that it's just it's so much fun to be around people, and I think the chemistry on the team is so much better because we get to spend a lot of time together, and just being around your teammates more, it makes you feel more comfortable around them on the court as well. So I think that is the biggest difference compared to COVID year when we played. And I remember in this gym right here, we were honestly just warming up and waiting to get on the court with wearing masks and all that stuff. And now, it's just so much difference, all the people in front of you and stuff like that. So I think that would be the biggest difference.
I'd say it's a lot more exciting this year, just being able to be around your teammates. Last year we were really had to be in the hotel room, your individual hotel room for the majority of the day, besides team meetings and practice and stuff like that. It's just been exciting to be around your teammates. Like we went on a walk yesterday after we ate at a steakhouse. Like just guys being able to hang out with each other, being in each other's rooms, and in the presence of others it really has made this a lot more exciting. I feel like last year, coming from last year, it made us not to take this moment or this opportunity for granted. And so I think we're just trying to get the most out of it as a team.
We've got only time for a couple more. Let's go front left, and we'll go to Zoom. And Jimmy, go ahead.
For any of you guys, Longwood's making its first ever NCAA tournament appearance. When it popped up on the bracket, did any of you know where Longwood even was? And then once your coaches started talking to you about this team, how quickly did it snap you back in that, like, okay, this is an NCAA tournament opponent, we got to be ready?
In this case, I think that it really doesn't matter who we're playing, even if you heard them before or not. I think NCAA tournament, that's the fun part about it. Just any team can beat any team at this point. Everybody's a champion in their own way. So I just think that you can take any team for granted. We focus on them right now. And I think they have a great team. That's what they're here too. So pretty much just focus on them and take one step at a time.
Let me go to Zoom, and let's get a question from Jimmy Hyams. Jimmy, go right ahead.
Yeah, Josiah, when this team was 2-3 in SEC play, did you have any doubts that you guys would be able to turn it around like you have?
No, I had absolutely no doubt. We got off definitely to a start that we didn't envision, but I think that this team is resilient, and I knew that from the summer, from the workouts and the pieces that we had. I knew we had a special team, and we never really held our heads down. We just knew that we had to make adjustments and had to get better, and thankfully we were able to do that. Let's get one more out of Jerry Oda question down here in front, right there.
Jerry Tipton, Lexington Herald Leader. You guys won the SEC tournament, yet two of the teams in the league have better seeds than you all. I just wondered what, if anything, you made of that.
Foggy said yes. That's something to say.
John, you want to take that one?
I mean, it doesn't really matter our seed. Right now, we're just focused on playing Longwood, and like you said, just trying to accomplish our goals.
And we're up against it time-wise, unfortunately. Gentlemen, thank you very much, and best of luck tomorrow in the rest of the tournament. We'll bring Coach up here in just a matter of moments. We're now joined by the head coach of the Tennessee Volunteers, in Rick Barnes. Again, if you've got a question for Coach, please raise your hand. We'll bring a microphone to you. Please state your name and media affiliation. Let's go front row right here. Go right ahead.
Grant Ramey, 247 Sports. Rick, do you think it's good for your team to be back in this same building and have memories of what happened a year ago?
Well, yeah, I think that they, so it was so different just driving up to the building and getting into Indianapolis. It's just a totally different feel than a year ago, and I don't think there's any question that our guys are excited to be here and get ready to play.
Let's go right here. There you go.
Trip over here in Maryville Daily Times. Rick, Longwood came in here earlier and talked about their efficiency as an offense and how they kind of try and break down opposing defenses. Just how confident do you feel in your team's defensive ability to kind of slow them down?
Well, we're going to certainly be challenged at a high level because they shoot the ball extremely well. They assist each other on their shots. They have good movement, good player movement. They do a really good job of offensive rebounding, even though people would say they're smaller, but they play, I think, much bigger with their speed and quickness. And defensively, they do a really good job with their gap defense and really blocking you out there. So for us, we'll have to have really good offense. And on the other end, we've got to get back and get our defense set.
Let's go front right corner.
Rob Lewis with VolQuest.com. Coach, I think you're 17-2 since you started 2-3. Do you feel like you are coming into this tournament playing your best basketball right now?
Well, I think any coach would tell you that, yeah, we've played good basketball, we wouldn't be where we are right now. But we always talk about we can be better, and there are certain areas of the game that even on the defensive end and offensive end, we think that we can get better, and we need to get better because every team in this tournament has played good basketball, they wouldn't be here, and they're playing at a high level this time of year. So we've got to be more so than ever focused in on our game plan. We've got to be more so than ever focused on, executing the fundamentals of the game, and know that we have to be playing at a high level, and maybe realizing that there's another level that we can get to, and we got to try to get there.
Let's go back row middle.
Reese Van Hatten, WATE. After the game in Tampa that you guys won the championship, Santi said nobody watches more film than you. So how much film have you watched in the past few days?
Well, I do watch a lot of film, and obviously I watch I never ever miss watching our sales play, practice tape. I think is one of the most important things I can do to help our team. But with the film that I watch for the opponent, so much of that is dictated by what our assistant coaches do, and because they really dive into opponents, and we go way back. I mean, way back, maybe sometimes at the very first game of the season to figure it out. But I believe in watching tape, and I think it's important that you teach players how they need to learn to watch tape, because we obviously can send them things throughout the year that they can look to.
Joe, go ahead.
Athletic. Rick, just wondering, is this the best, healthiest, most confident Josiah has been in his career at Tennessee? And if so, what does that mean for you guys?
Well, obviously, when Josiah is playing at an extremely high level, as a team, we play at a high level. And he's such a versatile part of our team. I've said before, he has guarded every position on the court, and he's willing to do that. He's played every position on the floor from an offensive standpoint, and when he's confident and locked in, I think he and Santi are two guys that have great chemistry on the court together. And what's happened there is I think Kennedy and Zakai have gotten that with him, and I think the other guys listen to him, which I think is really important for our team. But when he's healthy and doing what he's doing, that's when we're at our best.
Let's go front right.
Trey Wallace with Outkick Fox. Rick, so Josiah Jordan James was talking about goals that were set and goals to make the tournament, goals to make the Final Four and the championship. And he said he had already knocked one off with winning the SEC tournament. Did you notice something over the season with your group of leaders kind of setting, I know they have their own type of goals, but kind of stepping up and trying to lay the narrative for the season?
We talked about it after the SEC tournament. At the end of last year, when we put last year to a closure, we talked about leadership and how we felt like we had to improve from within the team itself. And I mentioned last week about how we had got a clip of a article that Michael Jordan was talking about leadership and how hard it is to be a leader and what it means, what goes into that. And after I read that to him, I asked the simple question: who's going to buy into this role, or how many people will buy into this role to where you guys really hold yourself accountable, not only on the court but off the court, with the preparation that we need. And then we broke, and when we came back at the start of summer workouts, we went through that again. And actually, I thought through the preseason we had great leadership, and then the season started. We were hit with, like everyone, a little bit of COVID early, and we were in that position where I felt like it had waned a little bit, and we had another meeting and talked about it. And since that time, I do think these guys have really done a great job of leading themselves, the older guys, and aren't afraid to say to someone, hey, that's not a good shot, or hey, you got to take care of the basketball. You know, you got to help me on this situation. You got to talk more. And when you start getting that kind of leadership, that's the kind of leadership that you want throughout the game. And when players see it and they respect each other for it, that's when teams become special teams.
Let's go front left. Go ahead.
Rick, Steve Lehman, News Channel 5, Nashville. You talked about how different it is this year just coming into the building. You're going to have a practice in front of fans just now. They'll be in the building tomorrow. How much can that energize your team and help them perhaps? And then also John Fulkerson wasn't available to you last year. How much does having him back help you?
Well, we need everybody. There's no doubt about it. And, you know, and it was, you know, one of our players last year, you know, Keon Johnson said to me one of his highlights was getting to the NCAA tournament, but one of the biggest disappointment was how it turned out. And not just losing the game, because it was just so different for everybody last year. But now that we're here and, you know, we drove up to the same hotel a year ago, there was a chain fence around it. And now it's not, you know, and the hotel's being renovated, all that. And it's just, it's different. And with him being back, it's different because we came off the, where we were playing good basketball in the SEC tournament. And obviously, you know, he took the blow that where he couldn't finish and come back and was in concussion protocol. But right now, again, I do think our team's in a good place, and having him back, and he was very important to us Sunday. You know, he played maybe as many minutes as he's played in quite some time. But as a group, it's just important that we all just stay focused in on what we've got right now.
Let's go front row here on the corner.
Mike Wilson, Knoxville News Sentinel. Rick, you've had Mike Schwartz around you for a very long time. When was the first time that you thought that he could become a head coach one day, and how excited are you for where he is right now?
You know, Mike, I thought probably the first time I met him when he was a college player. When I went to Texas, we had 7 players on scholarship, and we were going to have to find 7 walk-ons, and Mike was one of those guys that stood out because of his energy, the way you guys see him coach on the sideline. That's how he played. I mean, he grew up loving the game of basketball. Then he became he made the team, obviously, and every day, I mean, he took practice seriously every day, was always around wanting to continue to learn the game. And then he became our first ever GA at Texas. And from that point, he moved some different places, and obviously having a chance to work for Frank Haith, who's from our family, and then Rodney Terry. And I always knew that when the right time, when there would be the time, that I would love to have Mike back. But if you ask me when I thought he would be a head coach, I don't ever think I thought he wouldn't be a head coach. And I mean, he has got it in all areas, facets of the game, and his commitment to the game and to what the game is about is special.
For those of you that are on Zoom, if you want to raise your hand, we'll try to get to any Zoom questions coming up here. A couple moments. Let's get to the young man with the hooded sweatshirt there. Jerry's got it. Jerry, you go ahead. Go ahead, Jerry.
Jerry Tipton, Lexington Herald Leader. Rick, you said your team's in a good place. How much credit should go to having played in the SEC tournament last week as maybe propelling you forward, or is, you know, it's just another game?
No, Jerry, I think you look, I think we had one of the best records in the SEC coming down the stretch in February and March, and so I think that our guys were focused going into the tournament, and it was something, they wanted to win a regular season championship, which we didn't, but we also knew that you'd have a chance to win a conference championship, something hadn't been done in a long time at Tennessee, and so they went in and had a great approach there, one game at a time, and understanding how important that was. But what we have tried to do, and we talked about it today. We got to get better today. With the time we had over at Butler this morning, we got to go in focused and doing what we need to do, and then come here today and do some shooting. With that said, still making sure that we don't overdo it. So we're at our very best tomorrow, and we leave some of this up to our guys in terms of what I trust them so much that I can ask them, how do you feel? How do you want to do this right here? And they all the guys that as you know that put in the minutes, they have a pretty good feel for where they are physically and what they need to do. But it's a group that I think they understand that we can keep getting better. Even within games, we can continue to get better.
Go ahead.
Jake Nichols, Volunteer Country. Rick, after the SEC championship, all those emotions that came out, a lot of those were featured on SEC Inside earlier this week. Have you been able to go back and watch that and kind of reflect any more on the relationships that you have with your guys?
Well, I haven't watched a lot of that. I don't. I mean, I can show you my phone. I've got 500 some text on it, you know, and I just can't because we've got stuff we have to do. But I really appreciate everyone, and I know it's a special time. And when you win a championship, it's special. But you know, I'm with these guys every day. Our staff is, and I love the chemistry and the camaraderie that we have within our basketball family. You know, from the very top with our commitment from the university and our athletic department all the way down to our managers. They do it just in our GAs. They do a tremendous job, and I think there's a great deal of respect for everybody. But yeah, you know, I love watching our guys with that smile on their face. I did because I know how hard they've worked to want to do something really special, and I know that they want to continue, but they also realize this is hard. What we're getting ready to do is very hard because every team here has won a championship some way, somehow, and you've got to go out and the game's changed a little bit in terms of the longer timeouts, so it's just a situation where we've embraced it, and we've got to see what we can do with it.
Let's go to our Zoom. Let's go to Jimmy Hyams. Jimmy, go ahead with your question for Coach Barnes.
Rick, when Tennessee was 2-3 in SEC play, did you have doubts about what this team might be able to accomplish?
No, I really didn't, Jimmy. You know, we opened up, I thought at the time, you think about the schedule that we opened up with, we had to go to Alabama, we had to go to LSU, Kentucky. So I'm not sure anybody had to open up the league any more difficult. And we were, again, we felt like we were coming off the Arizona game. We felt like we were really in a good spot at home. Then we go break for Christmas, and the COVID hit, where Kennedy and John weren't able to get ready for the Alabama game, and so we're trying to work it back together, and that schedule when those teams were playing great basketball. But no, we never wavered on what we believed that this team could do.
Jimmy, thank you. We got time for one more right here in the front.
Yeah, Gentry Estes, Tennessee. And Rick, kind of following up on that a little bit, when you lost at Kentucky, the comments at the time, you talked about a vibe with your team. When you look at it now, the vibe seems awfully good. What changed to get you to that point?
Well, it goes back to what I was just saying. You know, Kennedy had some really good games, but he had also had some tough games where defensively, and I think that was a big turning point for him because, you know, Kennedy does a lot with his instincts, but sometimes it would get him in trouble, and I think he learned that as he got into conference play, that if you can play 25 seconds of really good defense, and in that last 2 seconds you're guarding a guy, you go for a steal, he's got the ability to spin off of you and get to the rim and score. That happened early and often in the Kentucky game. But with that said, when we go back and watch tape, you know, I think with somewhere, if I can remember, right around 2 minutes or something in the first half, it was a 4-point game at Kentucky, and we had not played very well. And we'd given up a lot of easy baskets. Then all at once they hit us with some pressure at half court, and I think they scored 6, 7 points real quick. And then it opened up and they played great. I mean, they put together just a great second half of basketball, and so we went back and we showed them why did this happen, and certainly a lot of it had to do with Kentucky doing what they did, but how did we open that can for them, and I think he learned a lot from it. I do. And then from that point on, you know, he kept getting better defensively. I think you know, Olivier had started really playing good basketball, and so it goes back. We talk about getting better every day. I thought that those guys locked into doing that. Not only Santi, Sakai was learning. There was we were playing a number of different freshmen, and then we hadn't settled yet quite in on who was going to be the guys that would come off the bench night in and night out. And we kept talking about that. If we have to decide that the day before a game in practice, that's what we'll do, and it's kind of what we did.
Unfortunately, we're out of time. Coach, thank you very much. Best of luck this weekend. Folks, thank you for joining us. We'll resume these press conferences at 2:45. Thank you, Coach.